Welcome to Ancestral Garden. Every single year, Americans throw away $30 billion on one specific thing: multivitamins, immune boosters, synthetic compounds made in a laboratory pressed into a pill and sold to you with a markup of 5,000%. We are trained to believe that health comes in a child-proof plastic bottle. But while you are standing in line at the pharmacy paying $50 for a month's supply of vitamin C, there is a tree growing in a backyard in Florida that a landscaper is cutting down right now because he thinks it is trash. They call it the Drumstick Tree, or sometimes just a nuisance. But if you took those fallen leaves to a lab, the results would embarrass the pharmaceutical industry. This plant contains 7 times the vitamin C of an orange, 4 times the calcium of milk, 4 times the vitamin A of carrots, and 3 times the potassium of bananas. It is not just a plant, it is a biological multivitamin that grows 15 feet a year. So here is the question that should make you angry. If this tree is so powerful that NASA calls it possibly the most important plant on Earth, why isn't it in your garden? Why isn't it in the grocery store next to the spinach? Is it because it is dangerous? Or is it because you cannot patent a leaf that grows for free? By the end of this video, I will show you how to break your dependence on the supplement aisle forever. But first, we have to look at the receipt. In the United States, we suffer from a strange condition. We are overfed, yet we are starving. We consume 3,600 calories a day, but our bodies are screaming for nutrients. So we turn to the supplement aisle. We buy bottles labeled ascorbic acid, calcium carbonate, and retinol. But here is the dirty secret that the $30 billion industry does not want you to read on the label. Most of these synthetic vitamins are isolated chemicals. Your body does not recognize them as food. You swallow the pill. Your body absorbs maybe 10%, and the rest, you flush it down the toilet. Literally. Americans have the most expensive urine on the planet. We are paying a premium price for a product that our biology rejects. And this brings me to a question I want to ask you right now. I want you to do a quick mental check. Think about the last bottle of multivitamins or supplements you bought. Was it $20, $40, maybe $60? Go ahead and type that number in the comments below. I want to see exactly how much this industry is taking from us every single month. Because while you are typing that number, remember this. The plant we are talking about today, Moringa Oleifera, does not cost $40. It costs $0. It does not give you isolated chemicals. It gives you a complete biological complex that your body absorbs instantly. For 3,000 years, Ayurvedic medicine called it the cure for 300 diseases. But in the modern suburbs of America, we don't call it a cure. We call it a code violation. You see, if you try to grow this miracle tree in a nice neighborhood in Texas or California, you might not get a harvest. You might get a fine from your Homeowners Association. Why? Because it grows too fast. It looks wild. It refuses to conform to the manicured aesthetic of a sterile lawn. We have created a society where a toxic, chemically treated lawn is mandatory, but a tree that could replace your entire medicine cabinet is illegal. But they are not just banning a tree. They are banning your independence. To understand why this tree is a threat to the system, you have to look at it under a microscope. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe that vitamin C is just a molecule called ascorbic acid, but that is a lie. In nature, vitamins are not isolated. They are complex structures. They come bonded with enzymes, cofactors, and minerals that act as a key to unlock your cells. When you swallow a synthetic vitamin pill, you are mailing a letter without a zip code. It gets lost. Moringa is different. It contains 92 nutrients, 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatory compounds, and all 9 essential amino acids. It is one of the only plants on Earth that contains a complete protein profile. This means a vegan could survive on this plant alone. When you eat a fresh moringa leaf, your body recognizes the code immediately. The absorption rate is near 100%. It acts like a biological software update for your immune system. But here is the problem. You cannot patent a tree that anyone can grow from a cutting. Big Pharma cannot put a barcode on a leaf that grows 15 feet in a single year. And that aggressive growth is exactly why the Homeowners Associations hate it. In the perfectly manicured suburbs of America, nature is supposed to be decorative. It is supposed to be slow, polite, and sterile. Moringa is none of those things. It is messy. It drops leaves. It grows branches so heavy with seed pods that they snap in the wind. It refuses to follow the rules of the suburban simulation. So the HOA fines you. They tell you to cut it down and plant a decorative palm tree or some chemically treated grass instead. They prioritize property value over nutritional value. And this forces us to ask a very uncomfortable question about our lifestyle. I want to ask you to pick a side right now. Would you rather have a perfect lawn that costs you money and requires toxic chemicals to maintain? Or would you rather have a messy garden that looks wild but feeds your family for free? Type lawn or garden in the comments. Let's see if we still value freedom over aesthetics. Because if you choose the garden, you need to know how to grow this beast without getting sued by your neighbors. You need a strategy. But wait, if this plant is really a miracle, why isn't Whole Foods selling fresh bundles of it right now? Is it just a conspiracy? Actually, the reason is even more frustrating. It is about shelf life. The modern grocery store is designed for zombie food. An apple at the supermarket was picked 11 months ago. It is covered in wax and stored in cold gas chambers to look fresh. Lettuce is bred to be tough, watery, and transportable. Moringa refuses to play this game. Once you cut a branch of moringa, it begins to ferment immediately. It wilts. The nutrients start to break down within 24 hours. It is too alive for the industrial supply chain. Big agriculture cannot put it on a truck drive at 2,000 miles and let it sit under fluorescent lights for a week. By the time you bought it, it would be a pile of yellow mush. This is why they push the powder. They can dry it, irradiate it, bottle it, and let it sit on a shelf for 2 years. But here is the truth they don't tell you: fresh is king. The enzymes in the living leaf are what make the magic happen. And the only way to get those enzymes is to grow it yourself. But nutrition is only half the story. What happens if the water shuts off? There is a reason why preppers and survivalists in America are quietly stockpiling the seeds of this tree, and it is not for planting, it is for water purification. Imagine a scenario where the power grid fails. The tap water stops running. You have to pull water from a dirty creek or a rain barrel. It is full of bacteria and sediment. If you have a moringa tree, you have a water treatment plant. Science has discovered that the crushed seeds of this tree contain a positive electrical charge. Bacteria and dirt have a negative charge. When you swirl the crushed seed powder into dirty water, it acts like a magnet. It attracts the toxins, clumps them together, and sinks them to the bottom. In 1 hour, it can remove 99% of bacteria and turbidity. It turns brown sludge into clear, drinkable water. The U.S. military has studied this. The United Nations uses this in famine zones. So when the HOA tells you that this tree is ugly or messy, they are looking at it with the eyes of a tourist. You need to look at it with the eyes of a survivor. This is not just a multivitamin. It is a life insurance policy that grows in the dirt. And there is one final secret hidden in the leaves. Something the beauty industry charges $300 an ounce for. It is called Zeatin. This is a powerful plant hormone, a cytokinin. In plants, it tells cells to divide but to stay young while doing it. It delays the aging of the leaf. When you apply this to human skin or ingest it, studies suggest it has a similar effect on our cells. It is the ultimate anti-aging compound. And while cosmetic companies synthesize it in a lab and put it in a tiny jar of night cream, your moringa tree is producing tons of it for free every single day. So we have a plant that cleans your water, replaces your vitamins, and fights aging. Now, do you understand why the system prefers you to buy their products instead, but you can beat them? The strategy is simple. Do not let it become a tree. In the wild, Moringa is a 40-foot giant. That is what gets you in trouble with the Homeowners Association. But here is the secret that the botany books don't emphasize enough: Moringa loves abuse. It actually produces more leaves when you attack it. If you live in a strict neighborhood, or if you live in a zone where it freezes in winter, do not plant it in the ground. Plant it in a 15-gallon pot, and when it reaches 3 feet tall, cut it in half. Chop it down to 18 inches. It sounds brutal, but this forces the plant to panic. Instead of growing one tall trunk, it will explode into a dense, bushy shrub. You can keep it below the fence line, invisible to the HOA inspectors. You turn a towering tree into a compact vitamin factory right on your patio. And when winter comes, you just drag the pot inside. It goes dormant and it wakes up in the spring. Harvest the leaves fresh, but be careful. Vitamin C is destroyed by heat. If you boil this plant like spinach, you kill the magic. Dry the leaves in the shade. Crush them into a powder. 1 teaspoon of this green powder in your morning smoothie replaces that entire bottle of synthetic pills. It costs you nothing but water and sunlight. Growing this plant is not just gardening. It is an exit strategy. It is a declaration that you are done renting your health from a $30 billion industry. They want you to depend on their supply chain. They want you to fear nature. But the most powerful pharmacy in the world does not have a drive-through window. It has roots. If you are ready to stop paying for what nature gives you for free, then welcome to the resistance. If you made it to the end of this video, prove it to me. Type the words "no pills" in the comments below. Let the algorithm know that we are building a community that values sovereignty over convenience. Hit the like button to help this video bypass the gatekeepers, and subscribe to Ancestral Garden, because the best way to predict the future is to plant it.